For the statement, and I give the floor to the representative of China.
President, China appreciates Slovenia presidency for convening this emergency meeting requested by Venezuela and supported by Russia, China, and other countries. We thank ASD Chiari for his briefing. For some time now, under the pretext of combating drug trafficking, the United States have continued to increase its military deployment in the waters of the Caribbean off the coast of Venezuela. It has escalated sanctions, blockades, and military threats against Venezuela, and claimed to have sunk Venezuelan vessels, shot dead crew members, and seized oil tankers. It has designated the Venezuelan government as a foreign terrorist organization, claimed that Venezuela's territory, oil, and assets belong to the United States, and even threatened military strikes against the Venezuelan territory. The U.S. actions and the rhetoric have led to continued tensions in the region, raising serious concerns among regional countries and the international community. The UN Charter establishes fundamental principles governing international relations, including sovereign equality, non-interference in internal affairs, and peaceful settlement of disputes. They constitute the cornerstone of international rule of law and are crucial for maintaining world peace and security. The U.S. actions seriously infringe upon other countries' sovereignty, security, and legitimate rights and interests, gravely violate the UN Charter and the international law, and threaten peace and security in Latin America and the Caribbean. More and more countries in the region and beyond have voiced grave concern about and strong condemnation of the U.S. actions. We note that Secretary General Guterres has clearly stated the need for all countries to respect international law and the UN Charter, exercise restraint, and de-escalate tensions to preserve regional stability, and his readiness to play a mediation role to this end. China attaches importance to President Maduro's recent open letter. As an independent sovereign state, Venezuela has the right to independently develop mutually beneficial cooperation with other countries and defend its legitimate rights and interests, which should be respected and supported by the international community. China opposes all acts of unilateralism and bullying and supports all countries in defending their sovereignty and national dignity. We stand against any move that violates the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and infringes upon other countries' sovereignty and security, against the threat or use of force in international relations, against external interference in Venezuela's internal affairs under any pretext, and against illicit unilateral sanctions and long-arm jurisdiction that have no basis in international law or authorization by the Security Council. We call on the United States to heed the just call of the international community, immediately halt relevant actions, and avoid further escalation of tensions. We urge the United States to uphold the navigation safety of regional countries and the freedom and rights they enjoy under international law, to conduct normal law enforcement and judicial cooperation under bilateral and multilateral legal frameworks, to lift illicit unilateral sanctions, and to do more to promote peace, stability, and development in Latin America and the Caribbean. President, Latin America and the Caribbean constitute an important part of the Global South and are a vital force in maintaining world peace and stability and promoting global development and prosperity. China recently released its third policy paper on Latin America and the Caribbean, in which it reaffirms its support for the proclamation of Latin America and the Caribbean as a zone of peace and the declaration of member states of the Agency for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons in Latin America and the Caribbean. This fully demonstrates the high importance attached to and support for the region. China stands ready to work with countries in the region to strengthen solidarity and cooperation, uphold fairness and justice, and jointly safeguard peace and stability in Latin America and the Caribbean. Thank you, President.
I thank the representative of China for the statement, and I give the floor to the representative of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me begin by stating and reiterating the United States does not recognize Nicolas Maduro